Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Anissa. Can I switch this Chinese name? Because Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam assisted our ummah that bladder Arab children in China. So when you know Chinese, you know bilingual, you will know how to assist the person. Am I right? Is that?
If you know Chinese?
What I mean is Mandarin.
Mandarin.
Yes.
Okay. All right. What you will find out is, as the Quran says, prophets were sent to every nation, which means the prophets were sent to China. I think there is a concept sharing peace, that there is a concept of the cosmic spirit, and that is expressed through that language like every other language. When you find monotheism, this concept of the Great Spirit, it is well embedded within the culture in that part of the world, as it is in other parts of the world. For all Islam does bring that monotheism out of the individual. This is all it does. It is not supposed to change you into something that you're not. It brings out the best inside you.
Can I ask you another question? How about Confucius? Is he someone that Allah loves?
Concerning Confucius and Buddha and many of the revered leaders, religious leaders, there is definitely traces of monotheism and traces of what we would consider to be Islam in their teaching. But because their names are not specifically mentioned in the Quran and not mentioned in our other traditions, we cannot say for sure whether they were actually prophets who came to their people. We cannot say for sure. But the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, did say over 124,000 prophets and messengers came to every nation and every time.
So it's that I will assist this world managing. So it's up to the individual. Am I right?
Yes. It is up to the individual. They should seek knowledge and they should strive in the best way. Okay, another question now? Anybody else? Yes. Sorry, no? Dr. Please tells us that Africa was led with Islam elevating state of history, Africa even during the time of the Prophet and stuff. So can you tell us something about the African Muslim contribution towards humanity? Yes, what is not so well known is that actually when you look at the map, there is a valley called the Rift Valley, which starts somewhere in the Middle East. It goes down through the Red Sea, all the way into East Africa, and right down the African continent, that all of these countries in there are actually on the same zone. So really, there was never much of a separation between what is now known as Africa, the Sudan, Eritrea, and Somalia, and Arabia. There was no real major separation. The Red Sea is not a large barrier. And on a clear day from Somalia, northern Somalia, you can see Africa. You can see Yemen. You can actually see it. So there's not a major barrier. And so, but now we do divide up the continents now. And based upon this division, the Prophet Muhammad, when his followers were being oppressed in Mecca, he said to them, go to Al-Habasha, go to Abyssinia, Ethiopia. There is a righteous king. He does not oppress anybody. He doesn't allow anybody to be oppressed. Go there until Allah will decide your future. So the first migration out of Mecca was not to Medina, it was not to Yemen, not to Iraq, Persia, it was to Africa, into Ethiopia. That was the first major migration. And the emperor, who was there, An-Najashi, whose name was Ashama, was his actual name, Najashi is his title, he eventually accepted it. And so the continent itself has always been a great sanctuary for Muslims, especially North Africa, Egypt, and going all the way across. And you'd be surprised to know that the word Africa
actually comes in its modern form from Arab. Because when the Muslims went into what is now Tunisia, they found this word Ifriqo. This word meaning a sunny place. And they Arabicized the word, or some say they used from the word Faraka, separate, and they came with the word Ifriqiya. So Ifriqiya is the actual name of Tunisia. And then now it's put over the whole continent, Africa. But actually the word comes from the Arabic language itself. There are more Arabic-speaking people on the African continent than in the Middle East. More people who speak Arabic in the African continent. The great scholars of Islam, especially in the school of thought called the Malikiya, the Maliki school of thought, even the Shafi'i school of thought, were actually strengthened in Egypt and in North Africa and Andalusia, Spain, and West Africa, and all these regions there, and down into East Africa. So this is one of the hotlands of Islam, and great scholars, great universities were developed in this part of the world, and they still are making great contributions today.
Could someone help our brother there?
All right. You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I've got some questions for you. My name is Lao Shan. I'll say a talk at the NTUC auditorium on Friday on another topic. What I'd like to ask you today is a few questions. Number one is, you have a name like Dr. Abdullah H. That sounds very strange to me. Not very Muslim, isn't it? So how did you acquire the name Dr.
Have you second question?
Our second question is this. You're saying that the principles of Islam have been spread throughout the far corners of the world. Now, as you know, I think that the language used by your missionaries is Arabic. And as you know, there are so many languages and dialects in the world. And if you were to go to China and use Arabic, I don't think you'll be able to get the word across. And the thirdly is this. As I understand you, the blessing of being a Muslim is abundant. Does it mean that you are a Muslim, you are automatically conferred with what you call abundance? And then I ask you what you mean, what abundance of what? Abundance is a lot of what? A lot of material goods, material wealth, a lot of knowledge, a lot of love, a lot of blessings. You also mentioned that being a Muslim, the blessing is that it's a direct link to God, the hotline to God. Does it mean that if you are a Christian or you are a Buddhist, you have got no such direct line to God? Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
First off, in terms of my name, my family was originally Christian. They were not Muslim. And after I accepted Islam, I changed my first given name. I changed it into Arabic name. But there is no Muslim name. Because the followers of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, all of them accepted Islam. And nobody changed his name. Well, there's only one or two. One named Abdul Shams, who was a slave of the sun. So the Prophet said, no, you're not a slave of the sun, call yourself Abdul Rahman. Slave of Allah, most gracious. Okay, so there's no real Muslim name.